Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Lockie and today I am back with my Formula 1 British or Silverstone review, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so what in a weekend it was. A lot of news happened, fantastic race. First half was extremely well, second half was kind of a bit, yeah, whatever. But a fantastic race nonetheless. So, you know, if you guys haven't seen this before, I'm going to go from, I talk about practice, then qualifying, race, things I've heard after the race, which aren't that many, but there are a couple of things, and then my thoughts going into the Hungarian Grand Prix without hearing any of the news or anything. And if you don't know, I do predictions and reviews, so be sure to subscribe to check that out. But either way, so biggest news, just before practice, they announced Raikkonen was staying for 2017. Not what Ferrari needs. Straight up gonna say it, not what Ferrari needs. Now, I will be talking at the end of this as well. After I do my race review, I will talk about Ferrari. I did this about Mercedes and I've done this for Red Bull. I need to talk about what's going on at Ferrari and what needs to change if they want to do well. But either way, yeah, so that was that. Another thing for Ferrari, they tested that stupid looking halo system. I don't like it. I don't want a closed cockpit for Formula 1. I understand the reasoning for it, but the job is with the risk of it being open cockpit. It has been since the start. That's what Formula 1 is. You know, it's the top of the racing. That is, if the drivers have a problem with it, put someone in that doesn't. I'll take the job. I'll do it. I don't care. You know, the risk is there, and they're meant to be the reward as well. And if you take that risk out, it then allows a lot more. I know it's hard to explain, but I just think that when you're getting paid to do it and you're doing a job, it should be open cockpit. That's what Formula 1 is. That's what you know. I understand some drivers agree with that, and some drivers say it's the best thing to come to Formula 1, which it's not. Either way, they tested that. Looks fucking ugly still, so that's what I'll talk about with that. So then we had the Mercedes with their rules of engagement, it should be said, for their two of them to race. We did not see that this weekend. But there were talks about the punishments and how severe they may go, such as if Lewis Hamilton caused an accident, he will be left home for a race. Now obviously it'd have to be a pretty harsh accident and circumstances will have to apply for that to happen, but there is talk that yes, they will leave him at home. And Martin Brundle tried to call him out on it, and he called his bluff. It's you know, the Toto Wolff will leave him at home, which is very interesting to see. So we shall see in the future what will go on. But what Mercedes really needs is Mercedes needs to not have two number one drivers. I think if you're going to apply team orders, which basically that's what they're going to do, have a number two driver, and which I think is the reason why they only want to sign Rosberg for 1 year. If Hamilton leaves the team at the end of next year, they'll put a number two driver in. If he stays, they'll kick Rosberg out and put in Hamilton and a number two driver. So that's why they want it to be 1 year, not 2 year. Otherwise, they have to get rid of Hamilton. But they prefer Hamilton by the looks of it. So that was that. There wasn't really anything in FP1. FP2, Rosberg had a problem. That Mercedes is very unreliable. Again, just didn't get out there at all. I think he did a lap, but then nope, didn't work. Then we go into FP3, which is free practice if you don't know what the FP stands for. FP3, Marcus, I didn't actually watch this one. I missed this one. I was out. I did get to see, though, that Marcus Ericsson crashed, caused a red flag just before the end of the session, which then ultimately, how do I say this? It then led to no one being able to fully test their qualifying setup. So it was very interesting with that, but they all did get to go out there and do a couple of laps. Vettel had a gearbox failure at the end of the session. Went to shift, I think it was it up into 7th gear, then it threw him immediately out of 7th gear, and that was immediate problem. He then took a 5-place grid penalty problem for that. Second weekend in a row, again, another gearbox problem for Ferrari, which could be a problem. Actually, a few people were having gearbox problems. They thought it might be specific to this track, but then we've kind of seen that this season. I think it's just getting worse and worse because they're pushing the engines and they're not really dealing with the gearbox. And Red Bull looked quick as they were. They were phenomenally quick. We go into Q1. Buttons, rear wing, semi-deattaches so he doesn't get full downforce and misses out on getting out of Q1. So I said Q1. And then when they went into Q2, nothing really spectacular. And then they went into Q3 and it was Lewis Hamilton, Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Rosberg, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, and then Sebastian Vettel. I don't remember the rest. But Red Bull out-qualified Mercedes when Mercedes was supposed to do well. Yet again, out-qualified Ferrari. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired. But out-qualified Ferrari when Ferrari was supposed to do well. So that's very interesting. Yet again, I'll get into why I think that happened in my Ferrari talk. So that's that for qualifying. Now we get into the race. Not as much as Austria in the race, but there was still plenty of it. I should also mention Marcus Ericsson didn't qualify because you cannot use 2 safety cells in one day. So when he crashed, he broke his safety cell, and that ultimately meant he could not do it. He was fine, able to race, but just couldn't... Oh, sorry. I was a little bit tired. Couldn't get out for qualifying. So it was looking like going into the race that if it rained, Red Bull would have a chance at winning the race. They knew they weren't going to win it if it was dry. And I was watching, I think the hour before, but I think, 20 minutes before, it started pouring down with rain. It was perfectly dry, and then starts pouring down. And so then they declared, okay, safety car start, which was very controversial. Again, second one for the season. And then we then saw it cleared up after 5 minutes, and it poured heavily for 5 minutes. And then it was like, okay, do we need the safety car? But you have to do it within a certain amount of time before the race, and they could not change it. They did do it a little early, but they could not change it after that. So yeah, so that was that. And then we started off behind the safety car. So obviously Lewis Hamilton led the first lap. Second time he's done it this season, believe it or not. And it was like, I think lap 5. It came in and too late. It was like people went on to Inters straight away. It's like, well, why do you have wet tires? You know, people lug them around and you're not even going to use them. And I understand some parts were very wet, but yet again, these guys are getting paid big bucks. They're meant to be the best of the best. They'll make it work. And now I understand from a few years ago with Jules Bianchi, which was a horrible thing, and they called it way too late. They're trying to be safe and cover their ass, and I understand that. But at the same time, everyone was saying, let's go. You know, if the drivers are saying, let's go. Whereas in Suzuka, they were saying, hey, we shouldn't be out here. We are aquaplaning. And it was clear. They couldn't turn, you know. But this one, they were fine. But either way, that's what that was. So yeah, half the field pitted for Inters when the safety car came in. Pascal Wehrlein crashed. Oh, no, he crashed out. He was out, caused a virtual safety car. So the other half of the grid who didn't pit, pitted under virtual safety car and worked perfectly for him, except for Ricciardo. He pitted a lap before, and that really screwed him over because that put Perez up into 4th place, took his spot, and then he was way further back. So if you don't know how virtual safety car works, everyone does the same speed around the track, so there's no gaining or losing. So Ricciardo's changed to Inters. That advantage he was supposed to get, he didn't get because he couldn't make up the time that he had lost. So he got screwed. So Perez jumped up. Hulkenberg also got screwed in that. A couple other people, but they're the two notable ones because Force India had a great weekend when it came down to the race. Bottas spins in lap 7. Kept the car going though, but man, they were getting under pressure because Hulkenberg was he was quick. He was really, really quick. But he got stuck behind the Williams and could not pass them because you went off the line, it's too wet. So it's like they had to stay on the line. And he was fighting, muscling that car around behind Massa because he was just trying to find any way he could to pass. And then on inters, Verstappen, when he was on wets, looked phenomenally quick. You know, you can tell it's early from karting because typically in karting, if you don't know, when it rains, sometimes the best line is actually on the outside of the corner where you're not typically driving because there's not rubber and it's not smooth there, whereas the outside it's rugged and the water drains better. And Verstappen was doing that in most of the corners because he could get more grip, and it was working. He was one of the few drivers doing it, and it was clearly working. I think Alonso and Button were the only other two. But yeah, and then on inters, he passed around the outside of, I can't remember the corner names, I don't know them that well, but around the outside on a corner that you should not pass around the outside, and made it look phenomenal. Then we had Grosjean DNF, then Palmer had a, what was it? Sorry. Palmer had a 10-second stop and go penalty. Oh, because when he pitted for inters, and went to leave the pit box, I think it was inters, or it might have been dries, they didn't put the right rear on, and he took off, and then they had to push him back. So, if you don't know what stop go is, you have to come into pits, stop for 10 seconds, and then go. You're not allowed to do any work on the car. It's not like the 5 seconds added onto your time, where if you pit, you stop for 5 seconds, then they change your tyres, or they add it at the end. This is, you have to pit, 10 seconds, go, and nothing gets done on your car. So he had that. Alonso had a huge spin into out of turn 1. Managed to keep the car going. Just absolutely phenomenal that he kept the car going. But yeah, unfortunately he was looking to have a good place. Didn't actually get too good of a place in the end. Hoyanto crashed out as well into turn 1. Turn 1 became a battleground for the drivers to keep it on. Palmer ultimately DNF'd because of brake problems. Rosberg, this is controversial, but Rosberg had gearbox problems in 7th gear. I don't think it was working right, or something was happening, and so you had to shift through it. So basically, when you shift into 7th gear, you stay in there for a little bit. You don't. You just go straight to 8 or straight to 6. You don't stay in 7th gear. And what was controversial about it was when he had the problem when it had occurred, he had asked the team, and the team told him what to do, which was fine. Then they told him how to fix it on the steering wheel, and then they told him something else, which was fine. But the very end of the message, when they said shift through 7th gear, that's what was wrong. That's what compromised the rules. So ultimately, he got a penalty, and he would lose out in the end. But I'll get into where they finished. Vettel got a penalty for running Massa off the road, ran deep into a corner, they both went off. Vettel didn't think it was justified, but at the end of the day, you ran him off the road. Doesn't make a difference if it's whether you outbraked yourself or not, you still ran the driver off the road, you still get a penalty. Fess up to it. Don't think that ultimately, I think he lost a place, I don't think that was it. Or maybe he didn't lose any. Rosberg, Rosberg might need to change his gearbox for Hungary, which means he loses 5 places. By the way, if you're wondering, I'm reading these off notes that I've written. My handwriting is not the best, even for me. But yeah, as I said, reliability really a problem for Mercedes, because Rosberg had another problem this weekend, and Hungary is going to be, if he gets a 5-place good penalty, that could hurt him, because Red Bulls are damn well quick. It's, as Christian Horner said, and I strongly agree with, it's Monaco without the walls. Obviously different track, different style, but the way it feels, the way the corners are, the way you set up your car, it's all similar to Monaco. So that was that. The ultimately where everyone finished was, so I just put my phone up so I can read it. Hamilton first, Rosberg second, but got a penalty which put him into third because Verstappen managed to hang on to the back of him because Rosberg did get Verstappen back. Then Ricciardo because he got screwed over by that pit stop which I mentioned. Raikkonen in fifth, Perez sixth, Hulkenberg seventh, Sainz eighth. Vettel did get to keep ninth, so his penalty did not affect him. Do want to mention though, that race Vettel was not on ball. He wasn't able to pass anyone, wasn't able to do anything. I think he started like 12th or something, and he just didn't do anything with it. It was just kind of there. So then it was Kvyat, that's the points done. Massa, Button, Alonso, Bottas, Nasser, Gutierrez. And then Magnussen, Palmer, Halianto, Grosjean, Ericsson, and Whirlin all DNF'd. As I said, Whirlin had problems. Ericsson's new car, there was just something wrong with the engine. Grosjean, I can't remember why I think he had another engine problem. Halianto crashed. Palmer, brake problems. Magnussen, I actually did not know Magnussen DNF'd. But either way, that's that where everyone finished. So as I said, I want to talk about Ferrari now, and then I'll talk about the my predictions for the Hungary Grand Prix. Ferrari have this huge problem where they like to talk. They like this. What Ferrari seems to me, right? Ever since I started watching Formula One, it's hey, we're Ferrari, we're gonna win. Oh shit, we're not winning. Well, we'll just fire everyone and rehire people. Hey, we're Ferrari, we're going to win. And then they just repeat and repeat and repeat. And that's the problem because I think Ross Brawn even said they need to shut up. They need to just quiet and do well. Red Bull, very quiet at the start of the season, said, hey, look, if we're going to get anything, we don't expect to be battling top 5 until after Canada. And then they shut up and that was it. They didn't say anything else. Look at them. Absolutely, look at Mercedes before 2014, dead quiet. Didn't say they were doing anything. Bam, out of nowhere, 2014. This engine, they've been developing it for years. They've won. They're winning every race. Ferrari need to shut up. Kimi Raikkonen as well is a bad move because Vettel looks up to Schumacher. And the most successful Ferrari drivers, when they went to Ferrari, told Ferrari to shut up and get this shit together, and control the team. And it's a Ferrari, it's gonna be good. It's like, no, this is shit. Famous thing, if you've ever watched the movie Rush, Niki Lauda went in and said, this car's shit. It's horrible, it's crap, what is this, you know? And they're like, you can't say that, it's a Ferrari. It's like, no. It's shit, you know? It genuinely is. And Schumacher did the same thing. I think Vettel went in, got results early on, but didn't do that with the team. I think it was because he got the results, he's like, well, it's a Ferrari, I'll get the results, and lost that way. I really do think that that's what's going wrong. As I said, Kimi Raikkonen staying doesn't push Vettel to want to do well. It's a safe bet, but it's not the right bet. And I think for as long as Kimi's there, I can't remember his name, I think it's Mario something, the head of Ferrari, team principal, he needs to go because he's just not doing them a load of justice at the moment. Because he's like, it's a Ferrari, we should be doing well. This is unacceptable. But it's like, yeah, it's unacceptable. Do something about it. Their strategist is shit. They won't get rid of him. It's just there's a lot wrong with Ferrari, and I want to see them win a world championship. Since I've started watching the sport, they haven't. I watched a little bit of 2008, 2009. Which were both, I think, I watched 2009, because it was just after Kimi won it, and Kimi won in 2008, I believe. So I watched, I think Button was that won his championship, and then it was just being Red Bull, and then Mercedes, you know, I want to see Ferrari do it, but they've got to do something about it, and that's my thoughts. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about them, is they just need to fix it, and they need to shut up and get rid of Kimi. But he's already signed for another year, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so sorry, my keyboard. But yeah, so that's that. Going into Hungary, as I said, I think it'll be very much a Red Bull Mercedes fight. I think Ferrari just giving up on this year, need to focus on next year. Red Bull are giving up on this year and focusing on next year because next year was always their goal. This year was just let's test some things and see how things go for next year. And it's working damn well, which is good signs. And the rules are playing into their factor next year. My thoughts on the rules, by the way, quickly. Yes, I like them making the cars faster. Great. Why are you doing it when after 2 years the racing's finally becoming good? Why? Why are you changing it to benefit anything? It's not. But either way, that's that. About this race here, the gameplay you watched, by the way. I know a little bit of corner cutting and that. I was quite tired when I recorded this. But I was quite good. I played as Verstappen. I ended up getting third. I was catching Rosberg and Hamilton. Then realised, I think at lap 10, I wasn't actually going to be able to get them. But I had a lot of fun doing this. It is one of the great races. Silverstone's always great to race on. I always do better on the softer tyres than I do on the hard as well. But either way, that was that. You know, I got third, past everyone. Started 10th deliberately because I was the fastest in qualifying. So I thought it might be a lot of fun. Thought I might be able to catch the Mercedes. Just couldn't quite do it. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. I do predictions and reviews before and after Grand Prix. I do my Becoming World Champion. I play Overwatch, Call of Duty. I play a bunch of variety of games. So be sure to subscribe to see that. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know about your guys' opinions for the race and if I missed anything. And I will see you guys next time.
Mercedes have won today's race, and what a result for the team. Niki Lauda rightly called it as one of the drives of the season.